It's an excellent investment in the future of your operation, animal genetics. And Pfizer Animal Health is launching a new program. Recently, Dr. Tom Field from the National Cattlemen's Beef Association had the chance to learn more at Colorado State University's Research Center.
Hello, I'm Tom Field, Executive Director for Producer Education at the National Cattlemen's Beef Association. Today we're at the Beef Cattle Research Center at Colorado State University in Fort Collins, Colorado. Joining us today is Dr. Kent Anderson from Pfizer Animal Genetics. Kent, tell me a little bit about your company and Pfizer's goals as they've moved into this realm of genetic evaluation.
Well, good to be with you, Tom. Pfizer Animal Genetics is a really new company. As a matter of fact, we just really came into existence in the spring of 2008. It's the result of a lot of due diligence and then the purchase of two companies, Catapult Genetics in Australia and Bovagen here in the U.S. Our goals are really to be a full-service genomics provider to all segments of the beef industry, and that would include seed stock and cow-calf as well as feed yards.
So as you move into this new age of genetic evaluation using genomics, actual bits of information about that double helix structure of DNA, how's that going to work compared to what we're all used to with expected progeny differences and contemporary groupings and adjusted weights?
Well, EPDs have served the industry well. We've got tremendous genetic trends to show for all those efforts in using pedigree and performance information. But in the past, we've used that information to indicate what genes the animal possesses. Now we're looking at individual markers that are associated with those genes directly, and those then will allow us to augment EPDs to more reliably predict genetic differences among animals at a young age.
So who would you expect to be your customers?
Well, we think all segments, seed stock producers, feed yards, cow-calf producers, and we think the ultimate beneficiary is going to be consumers.
So if I choose to be a customer, how would I participate in terms of collecting samples and being involved with your company?
It's easy, Tom. Call our sales reps or contact our website and we can send collector kits to you. We have collector kits for hair. Those are the follicles of tail hair. 25 follicles or more will give us enough DNA. Or we can accept samples in the form of blood on FTA cards. Or, of course, we can run our diagnostics using semen. And it doesn't have to be refrigerated.
So if I were to sample these Angus heifers behind us and were to send those to you, who owns the samples once they arrive in your hands?
You as the producer own the samples and the genomics information that is derived from those samples.
So any one of the heifers here, you get her hair follicles. What are you looking for in that follicle?
Well, what we'll do is extract the DNA, and then what we'll do relative to the seed stock products is we'll sum the effects of the markers that are associated with the given set of traits, and then we'll produce a molecular value prediction based on the sum of those effects of the markers.
So how many markers are we talking about? Is this a handful of bits of information, or is it really an extensive amount of information?
Well, it's growing fast, and what we're so excited about is that we started 2009 with a panel of markers that included 56 markers. We're going to conclude 2009 with an Angus panel of markers that exceeds 50,000 markers. So the technology is growing very fast and becoming appreciably more and more powerful.
Now you mentioned a big number, 50,000 bits of information from these markers. So the report that I get back, is it 50,000 bits of information on each animal that I have to sort through?
No, the postage would be too expensive. So we're going to, as mentioned previously, sum the effect of those markers for each given trait and produce one number in the form of a molecular value prediction that is a breeding value for animals that really works the same as EPDs are working.
So give me some idea about the kinds of traits that I can expect today and maybe in the future relative to these molecular value predictions.
Today, the core set of traits from this high-density offering will include birth weight, weaning weight, post-weaning gain, feed intake, and net feed intake, as well as the carcass traits, carcass weight, ribeye area, fat thickness, yield grade, as well as the palatability traits, marbling and tenderness.
Ken, I'm curious in terms of what the future looks like. It sounds like the current suite of traits will be things that I'm relatively comfortable with as a producer, growth traits and intake, etc. What's the future hold in terms of the other kind of traits that I might be able to get information in as we use genomics more accurately?
Well, the beauty of our dense panel set of diagnostics is that once the 50,000 genotypes are determined, we can use that information across a whole new different set of suites of traits. So closely on the heels of the core traits, we expect to release diagnostics in the form of MVPs for traits first related to animal health, second, a suite of traits related to the healthfulness of beef products, and then we're also working on a set of traits that encompass the whole maternal complex of productivity. And finally, we also have adaptability traits in the research pipeline.
So in the future, I may be able to take genomic information from any one of these cattle and be able to know something about their disease resistance, know something about their ability to adapt to a particular environment, and maybe even their ability to resist parasites and ticks.
Precisely. The beauty of the dense 50K panel is that we can use those genotypes to tell us about lots of things that are time-consuming, difficult, and expensive to measure.
As you know, these young heifers, just weaned, we don't know a lot about them. We have their pedigree information. We know information about their parents and siblings. We know a little bit of data on each of these cattle. How can genomic or marker-assisted selection help me make more accurate choices at this stage as to which of these heifers really ought to be put into our replacement heifer pool and which heifers ought to go maybe into our feeder calf kind of market?
Our vision with both the high density panel as well as the reduced panels is to have that integrated with breed associations performance program as well as genetic evaluation, such that for traits that we already have EPDs for, we use the MVP to enhance the accuracy for these young non-parent animals, and then for the traits that are difficult, time-consuming, and expensive to measure, we help more thoroughly describe those genetic differences so that you can make a better selection decision and so that you can make a lifetime of better mating decisions for these females, such that a higher proportion of their lifetime calves can be marketed as value-added seed stock.
So really the opportunity for me as a breeder is potentially to save a tremendous amount of cost by focusing my resources on really those animals that are truly matched up to my own genetic objectives and the objectives of my customers.
Benefits are really two or threefold. First, you can do a better job of selecting the heifers. Second, you should be able to do a better job of mating those females for a lifetime of their production. And third, a higher proportion of their production should be able to be marketed as value-added seed stock. Our internal work using discovery data sets and internal validation would indicate upwards to a 7-to-1 return on investment.
Well, Ken, it's a fascinating new area of technology and management protocols for us as an industry. Where can we ask folks to learn more about this exciting new technology? Where can they find information?
Well, we have a Pfizer Animal Genetics website, and so we'd sure direct producers to go there. As well, we'd love to have them on our mailing list so that we can distribute to them our DNA Age newsletter.
Well, Kent, thank you so much for joining us here at Colorado State University, and what a great setting to discuss this exciting evolution in new technology.
Pfizer Animal Genetics wants to pass along a thank you for your business. A Christmas offer including GeneStar and genetic condition testing. Please talk to your Pfizer Animal Genetics representative or go to PfizerAnimalGenetics.com or cattleman2cattleman.org. You can find more information, including easy-to-follow instructions and kits for collecting and submitting DNA samples, there.